What's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Jamardi4 here once again, and I am joined once more by my good friend Alex Jonte.
Hola.
Tell them where they can find you. Tell them more things about you. Since they
I can be found at your local strip pole. I am.
What's your stripper name?
My stripper name is Midnight Sun. I'm taking on donations. You can cash at me at Alex Jonte. And you can also find me socially on Instagram, Alex Jonte, and Twitter at Alex Jonte. I have two because Twitter tried to shut down one account, so it's Alex hyphen Jonte. No, Alex underscore Jonte, then Alex Jonte, one word. And of course, Jonte Productions on Twitter and YouTube.
For the assistant too, for those who have heard me talk about it, this is the writer and creator of such series. A horror enthusiast, which is why he decided to come and join me to watch this bullshit.
I had to be a part.
So we just did, what was that? That was
Sleepover. And my only advice, don't sleep over. Host, perhaps. Meet at a mutual. Meet at a mutual spot. Unless it's some type of, understood orgy. Everyone go home. We're adults.
I don't want to do that either because then I'm unfamiliar with what's, the surroundings. And
if
stuff.
they made it all the way to your establishment, then there should have been at least a conversation.
There should have, but then we're dealing with.
We're dealing with word shit. We went on a tangent.
Really? Yes. So
don't sleep at nobody's house.
Go check out the Home Alone. Not the Home Alone. That's the one I did before that. The Sleepover. The Sleepover stories. This is Netflix horror stories. So I'm like, so how is this? Just gives me Netflix and chill horror stories because I don't see.
That's what we could call this combo: a Netflix and chill review.
Because that's what it's giving.
So we got to the chill part, which is we don't want to chill.
Story number one. Ooh.
This happened in recent times, so excuse me if I sound confused and terrified while sharing. It was a warm Friday night, and I couldn't sleep even after trying for an hour. I came out to the living room to watch something on Netflix. I live in a ground floor apartment. The big window behind the living room couch opened up towards the woods. But I watch enough scary stories, so living alone near woods never bothered me so far.
You watch enough scary stories, but you don't have a curtain?
And me staying by myself just out in the woods,
Some people like the solitude, peace, serenity, peace of mind.
I have peace of serenity right here.
Maybe this, right? Look, and I just talked about this. Maybe this price point is a different price point out in the woods.
Is it worth it? I want to ask her that by the end of this. Is it worth it?
We'll see.
Shit.
I didn't have air conditioning in my apartment, so...
Okay, now... Now...
The amenities are must.
You get what you pay for. All right? Shit.
I switched on the ceiling fan and opened the windows for ventilation.
Oh, no.
I poured a bucket of nachos and mayonnaise dip before sitting for a scary...
You better do the what now?
There was a texture that hit me. An uncomfortable texture.
Nachos and
mayonnaise dip?
Yeah, this ain't nobody black.
Netflix movie. As I played a movie, the cool breeze from the forest touched my neck. I could hear the chorus of crickets. It has been almost an hour.
Hell no.
I was completely grooving in the movie when I heard sounds of dry leaves rustling in the woods. I turned around and didn't see anyone. A big owl hooted in the branch nearby, and I felt I am the only human being awake with these night creatures. I put a handful of nachos inside of my mouth and started munching on them ruthlessly. The movie I watched showed a deaf girl being alone in the house while an intruder breaks in. I know what you're thinking. Is she insane? No, I'm not. But as I said, I am used to watching scary movies late night. I am not a very sound sleeper. So, I was eating and watching the movie when I heard a creepy cackle echoing in the forest. I immediately turned around. My eyes got fixated on the narrow path going into the woods. Don't know why. A few seconds went by, then the echoing laughter started to go loud. It took me a few seconds more to realize that the sound of laughter is coming close.
See, now, girl, she's watching this movie with her window wide the fuck open.
What are you prepared for, sweetheart? Because in those situations, it would have been things built in upon moving in, like things placed strategically throughout the house and traps. Like, by the time you get within 3 feet of my, like, vicinity, there's spotlights and, like, sensors that are coming on. What are you prepared for? Are you going to just... She's going to be an audience member to
Where
this.
are you? where you could just have
We
your
don't
TV
have a location. We don't have a location.
Open window, so that means everybody can... Whatever's out there can hear you.
This is also a rule of thumb for those interior designers. Like, I always like whenever you come into somebody's house, I feel like the first thing you shouldn't be able to see is like their TV or things like that, or your back shouldn't be to openings like that, specifically for this reason.
Yeah. You can peep in people's house and just get all the view.
You know what I mean?
Nah.
Like, you take a little selfie, you kind of zoom in, you see like eyes in your blinds, and there's that cold shiver.
Oh, no. Girl, I need you to have like a double barrel shotgun underneath the sofa.
She doesn't. She's not prepared for any of this.
Suddenly, I saw a man rushing to my house at full speed, wearing a trench coat and a baseball cap. He was of average height.
Bitch. Let's take one more step, damn it.
The shock. Like I have goosebumps right now. The shock of that.
It's still coming at full speed for me.
Because, like, what was that? Get Out?
Oh, yeah.
You're not prepared for that. And somebody's obviously had time to prepare for this. So, no.
And you were over there by yourself
in
the dark.
Nacho fingers.
With mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise did.
So, like, what do you do? Like, right here, right now, what's next?
Let's see.
And a little overweight. Seeing him hovering towards my window like a crazy psycho, I got up from the couch. I threw the nacho tub on the floor and started to close the window, shaking in fear. The man was a few inches away when I slammed shut my windows. He stopped right there. Even though he was so close, I couldn't see his face. The baseball cap created a shadow on his face. All I could see was his rusty, dark lips. He stood there like a statue, and then his mouth formed a crooked smile. I could see his rotten yellow teeth. Whoever he is, he doesn't seem like a nice guy. I understood that very clearly. My heart was beating like drums when the man said something, moving his lips. But I couldn't hear anything. He was going on rambling something inaudible. Then, he started to walk towards the left of my house and disappeared behind the wall.
Is the window locked? And you're on the first floor of a park. So there are other people upstairs. My next tactic is to take a broom and start hitting the floor.
See, I don't think when they said apartment, I just saw a house. I just saw a cabin in the woods. I'm like, this doesn't look like an apartment, but we'll go for it just in case. That's the case.
That could be the animator, because like if I'm not just alone location wise in this scenario, then it's time to like start creating, an alarm. But if it's just her and God.
And I was her God.
I always locked my doors and windows before going to bed, so I was relieved thinking that at least he can't get inside. I sat down and paused the movie. The entire house was in darkness. The light from the TV was my only source to look around. I wanted to go and switch on the lights, but fear of death grabbed my feet too tightly to move. I took a few deep breaths and then started to look for my phone.
I need you to grab a knife, a blunt object, something.
I would have turned the TV off because
I think so too.
I would have turned the TV off so my eyes could actually, just because I know where things are in this place, right? So if there's somebody in here, they're going to knock into something long before I do. So I would have picked a corner next to the door, put my back to it, and just kind of just been there, because you can't just run up on me.
And then like the TV is giving them light to see you.
Exactly. This is not thought out.
You turn it off, your eyes adjust to the darkness, and they could probably, see.
I must call 911 before anything more happens. I noticed my phone was on the floor, which I threw away while throwing the nachos in shock. And due to the heavy throw, the front screen was shattered into pieces. My cell phone is the only phone in the house. Realizing that I can't even call 911 made my heartbeat become even faster. I crouched down on the floor and prayed to God to make this man go away. I thought if I waited for some hours, it would be morning soon, and then I can go out and ask for help. I'm the only tenant in this small 2-story apartment. The other tenants were supposed to come tomorrow. My friend Rita told me to stay with her tonight.
The plot just thickens as you talk.
Okay, because I knew I wasn't crazy. So it is just you and God. and which means if no one's in that upstairs apartment, then he could have very well scaled the place and just been waiting for you till whenever.
Where is he coming from? Is there another nearby property? Where are you coming from, sir?
we don't have enough information. We just have the here and now.
But I didn't listen. Who thought I will start living Netflix content in real life? That too, in the middle of the night. I don't remember what time it was, but I slowly got up and played back the TV. I didn't want to give that guy any idea that he scared the hell out of me.
So there's thoughts in your mind that he's still around to have an idea about you, but we're gonna play. Your pride is saying, show him you're not scared.
But he's still there, and you are scared. What? I don't understand the logic here.
She doesn't understand it.
So if he thinks that you're not scared, is he gonna think that he's not gonna attack you?
That man ran at full speed like Gossamer.
While you were doing this, right here, right now, what you're doing.
And you're back. You didn't move no furniture. You didn't adjust nothing. TV's still on. You're not even trying to like plug up your phone to make sure it still has like power. Cause you could hold Siri on the side and give her commands. Like you're
it's
not
broke.
thinking,
It's not destroyed. The screen is just cracked.
This is a choice at this point. I was with you.
I wasn't. As soon as this bitch started in the woods, nope.
All right.
You've already lost me.
The movie started to play again. Half an hour went by without any trouble. I thought to go to my room and try to contact 911 through my laptop. I walked to my room as quiet as possible. The laptop was right next to the study table, near the window. I was about to pick it up when I heard a slow breathing sound outside my window. I opened the curtain, and that creepy man was standing there, pressing his entire face on the window and staring right into my soul. Let me in. His voice gave my bones chills, and I screamed at the top of my lungs. I ran to the living room and collapsed on the floor, crying heavily.
I'm cutting this off. Because she is doing everything possible wrong here. She is doing everything wrong. This is your house. He's at your shit.
That's like pulling the covers over your head, talking about no.
He'll just go away. Bitch, if somebody comes somewhere, if you scale the apartment over here.
Y'all saw me turn around when we was watching because there's always in moments like, girl, turn around, he's behind you. So let me just say, make sure. The blinds crooked at the top up there. Somebody was...
Look, at the first thing, I'm here facing this whole kitchen. There's all sorts of knives. There's a hammer over there.
Be that prepared.
I can listen to stuff I can reach.
The man's laughter got louder, hearing me sob, and he started to bang on the glass window, screaming, "Let me in! Let me in! Let me in!"
All he has to do is break
But before he could finish his work,
all he's got to do, it's just glasses keeping him out, sweetie. And if he's all the way like that, he's willing to break it. Your defense is cowering in the floor?
You have no phone, girl. You can't call anybody. You're out here in the woods. Bitch, whoop his ass. Let him come on in here. Let me get a good old shower rod or something like that. Come on in here.
Something in me would believe his nervous system doesn't work the same as ours. I feel like you would hit that man and he would lick his own blood and smile at you.
Look, I gotta hit him upside the head, knock his ass unconscious, or at least hit us where he falls onto the floor and then just boop, boop.
His teeth alone tell me that he's ready for whatever you have. He'll grab your...
Well, look, at this point, I have to be ready. She ain't doing shit. There's nothing else she can do other than just... If I'm going to go out, bitch, I'm going to go out swinging. You ain't going to leave here as you came.
Jesus.
Birds, I heard a female voice in the passage outside of my apartment. Dad, where are you? I sprung in joy, thinking the neighbors upstairs may have finally arrived. I ran to the main door and opened it. A girl younger than me, probably in her high school years, stood outside my apartment with a confused face. I said in a sobbing voice, "There's a man trying to break in. My phone is not working. Please, call the cops." What? Relax, relax. Where is he? Show me. In my bedroom. He's standing outside of my window. The girl went straight to my room, and what she did next almost gave me a heart attack. She opened the bedroom window and helped that man get inside my apartment. I screamed in fear. Are you two gonna kill me now? What? No. This is my dad, for God's sake, not some fugitive. He suffers from some delusion. I am sorry you had to meet us like this. We are your next door neighbors.
I know you fucking lying.
What? Did you drive and he sprinted?
I know. I know you lying to me, bitch.
My lease ends tonight. Not tomorrow.
Now.
Tonight.
And indefinitely. As of right now. Break whatever you need to break. Okay, so, ma'am, we have some questions for you because why was your dad running full speed at my house, breathing, hollering, talking about some let me in? He couldn't say, "Hey, my name is such and such. Here's my lease documents."
It's something about her being available in that environment. It's almost like you seeing a wild lion outside, and then there's an animal zookeeper standing at your door. Like, oh my God! Have you seen my little kitty? The fact that you're already out there would tell me that they're comfortable enough with you, right? So whether you were in on it or not, you can't come in. You're part of the environment. I can't take a risk.
Yeah, nah.
He likes watching Netflix all day, but all our furniture is arriving tomorrow. Somehow he got out of the apartment and was wandering outside. Maybe he saw you watching TV, so he came here. I apologize for all the inconvenience. She looked at her dad with a really embarrassing face, and the man stared at my TV without saying anything more. He wasn't even noticing either of us. His eyes were stuck to the screen. I understood. This girl was telling the truth. She then took her father away. While walking out of my apartment, her father went on staring at the screen. Just before disappearing in the passage outside, his eyes shifted towards me, and he gave me one last crooked smile and said something inaudible that somehow felt like he was saying, "I'll be back." I left the place the next day, and since then, never met that girl or her psycho father. I am very sure the man is putting on a show, an act of mental illness to hide his evil self in front of his innocent daughter. So, if you live on the outskirts of Minnesota, then don't open your windows at night.
I just don't see how that's not common sense to you at the ground
Hey,
level,
guys,
girl.
I hope you're enjoying the video.
I can do that here on the fourth floor maybe, but on the ground level?
I don't open my windows, all right? I never believed that in the movies. That never made sense to me. People are like, I like to sleep with the fresh air.
Oh, no, sleeping, no. Now, if it's during the daytime and I'm cleaning or something to get some fresh air, then...
I believe bugs are always around through whatever time of the year, and I can't risk it.
You know what? That's fair.
And you can change your mind later. Enjoy. I woke up with a smile on my face. The sky seemed lovely. Everything seemed beautiful after a long time.
Come on, Snow White.
While brushing my teeth, I stopped and gazed at my wardrobe, looking for the perfect outfit tonight. After a bad breakup and 5 emotionally draining months, I finally have a date. Among all my dresses, the black one caught my eye. I took it out and hung it near the mirror to give it a nice press later. After freshening up, I went to the kitchen to make breakfast. I live alone in this studio apartment. My parents live in New Jersey, and I moved out last year. The guy I dated was my neighbor's son, and a total ass. But Jason is not like him. He is different. It has only been a week since I have met Jason. I was shopping for groceries in Walmart when our trolleys stumbled upon each other. Our eyes met, and we couldn't help but smile.
That's a Michael
There was
Myers.
something in his stare that imprinted his face in my mind.
Tell me I don't see the Michael Myers mask, like a young Michael Myers.
I see Glenn Close.
Not Cruella.
We exchanged some casual talks, and he even helped me carry my bags to the car. Then, He went on his way, and I drove home, wondering how strikingly handsome he is. 3 days after this incident, I was going to work when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Turning back, I saw it was Jason. He was driving a black truck and slowed down to talk to me. He said he too was going to work the same way and would like to drop me off. Without any hesitation, I hopped in, and now, here we are, meeting tonight for our first dinner date.
Foolish.
Now, I would say it depends on what score you, because this could have been a rom-com. This could have been Jennifer Lopez, Made in Manhattan getting picked up. If the story would have a happy ending, this would be like, oh, we met through these weird circumstances and it was fate. We came together.
Child.
I just feel like, it could either be horror or romantic.
Not the way he was looking.
Child.
Not the way he was looking. He gave everybody.
Jason is very punctual, and unlike other guys, he never keeps me waiting. So, I finished my breakfast and started preparing myself for date night. I was thinking about what show to wear when my phone rang. Hi, Mom. What's up? Someone's in a good mood. What's the occasion? Nothing. Did you meet someone? What? No. Why would you? Kiara, I am your mom. I know you too well. Tell me about him. There's nothing to tell yet. We are going on our first date tonight. He is nice and well behaved. That's good to hear. So, is it going to be just the date? Mom? Okay. No more interference in your private matter. You are a big girl now. Just be careful. And if you guys do it, then don't forget to use protection.
Not do it.
Mom, please. I have to go now. I'll call you later. Have a nice night. Bye, little birdie. Even though I yelled at her for thinking too far ahead of time, the same thing was going in my mind as well. I took a deep breath and said to myself, looking in the mirror, stop worrying so much. Everything will be all right. The entire afternoon went by dressing myself and doing my makeup. When I finally got ready, wearing my beautiful black dress, paired with matching black heels,
It's really.
I blushed, seeing like
She looked funeral. She is funeral ready.
You about to give the eulogy, bitch.
And it's not even like a good black dress, like a American Horror Story Coven kind of stylish, sleek. It's my parents made me come to this event, so I'm here and I'm just matching the color kind of dress.
You need some jewelry or something, girl. Bedazzle this up somehow. Put your hair up.
If her hair was like maybe, curly or like
Something.
That's what it is. It's the stylish.
All you need is a shawl over your face.
myself in the mirror. I sprayed perfume, and just when, a car horn honked under my apartment. I rushed to the window.
Do we honk horns anymore? Do we not text and say, "Hey, I'm outside," or like knock on the door? We pull up to the street and honk.
I guess, because we
Is
try
that-
to do it as a courtesy to the people around me.
Is that what happens? Beep beep. Like, okay.
That's
When
very
saw
easy.
Jason had arrived right on time. I rushed down, and he came out to open the door for me. You look like an angel.
Why don't you?
He looks really regular. He
Why
looks
don't
like
you-
and he looks like he's got like a t-shirt, like an over shirt and some jeans, because like wherever y'all going, it's about to be real comfortable, engaging physically. You may wanted to ask about the destination to match the energy.
Am I overdressed?
No, she's not overdressed anywhere, but perhaps the wrong dress.
Thank you. I sat beside him and thought about getting a kiss before heading to the restaurant. But Jason smiled and started to drive. It has come to my notice that Jason is not a very touchy guy, and it actually is fine with me. Not everyone is comfortable with public displays of affection. We went to the Ocean Grill and sat on a corner table that allowed us perfect privacy. I am glad that we are spending time together. Me too. I talked about my childhood and high school boyfriends, and for the first time in life, I found a guy who actually listened. Jason never interrupted me or showed irritation as I rambled about myself. I loved how carefully he listened and how he even showed interest in my life, asking follow-up questions like, where do my parents live? How long have I been living on my own here? Do I know many people in this neighborhood?
Bitch! live alone.
Right. Do you
How
have
many
any
peop-
security cameras?
How many people actually know you? Do they check on you frequently, daily?
Do you have any parents that live here nearby?
What's your blood type?
Any family? Like, girl, did none of this strike you as suspicious at the
She
time?
was desperate after 5 months of emotional up and down. That like the first guy that even looked at her at the grocery store, because Waiting to Exhale taught us that, gave her notice. She jumped on it.
Girl, well,
We are in trouble.
Never mind. Go ahead, please.
How often do I see my family, etc. I also told him how I rarely talk to people at work, and I have always been the quiet type.
Oh my God.
He smiled with his shining eyes and said, "Well, now you know me. For the first time."
You know the first thing about this man.
But he knows your schedule.
He knows everything he needs to know about you, bitch.
He kept his hand on mine, and a warm feeling made my heart skip a beat. After dinner, we got into his car, and Jason said, "Would you like to go to my place and hang out for a while? We can watch something on Netflix while having a couple of beers." I was bracing myself for this invitation, so I paused a while and said, okay. I may be a quiet girl, but I was smart enough to understand what this
No, you weren't.
Netflix and chill idea stands for these days. Actually,
Remind me again, how did Ted Bundy kill all his girls?
Child.
This is what it's giving me very much
Ma'am.
bait and kill.
there was no reason to say no because Jason is quite handsome and well off. If things go perfectly, then we have a long shot together. We left the highway and got onto a dusty road.
I'm exhausted. She's exhausted.
It just gets worse and worse. And she's acting like all this is normal.
I would have been hitting him with some. How often do you talk to your family? I talk to my my best friend almost daily. I talk to my family almost daily. My mom checks in every Sunday.
They know where I am right now.
Yeah. I am constantly streaming my location to those I love.
To about multiple people through multiple devices, yes.
And there's a daily check-in I have with multiple checkpoints.
Hmm. There's a sniper on that roof up there.
What does your support system look like?
Because, like, why aren't you getting any feedback from him? Like, he's asking you
Because
all these
he's
questions.
handsome, he's well off, and he seems to be interested in me, and that's what I need to know as a woman, that security and support is going to be there.
And then he's also leading into a dirt road in the woods.
I'm blind to that because he brought me dinner.
Did he? We did see the check.
We did not see the check.
We did see the check.
On one side, I could see vast fields, and on the other, deep woods. I had no idea you lived on the outskirts. Yeah, my grandpa used to live here. Now, this is my place. After driving for 15 minutes more, we reached a wooden house. Even
Nobody knows where this house is. The street lights aren't there. And there's a side profile of Michael Myers.
Like, this house has no address. There's no mailbox.
There's no mailbox. There wasn't a mailbox on that dirt road when he first started.
Okay, like, this is clearly a barren place.
Airbnb.
Even though it looked old and rusty from the outside, it appeared to be very cozy and warm from the inside. I was surprised to see how well decorated and clean the house was. Generally, you don't expect to see a bachelor's place in such good condition. But Jason was so particular in every little detail. A strong smell of room freshener was churning in the air.
I'll bet.
The place is spick and span because it's the first body, or the third or fourth or fifth bodies that were there before. Mm-hmm. He needed to make sure that the pine saw soaked into the place good.
Make sure all that blood spell dissipated by all the fabuloso.
And now he's got fresh meat, and he needs to make sure that the killing floor is ready for you.
I understood Jason had planned to bring me to his place after dinner long back. He sat me down on the living room couch and turned on the big flat screen. The red logo of Netflix beamed the room with its usual sound, and a screen full of contents flashed in front of my eyes.
Come on, Dark.
Taking a look at the suggestions, I found out Jason prefers crime thrillers a lot. I was surfing through the movies when he came back holding 2 beers in his hand. "What do you want to watch?" Saying this, he handed me a beer and I replied, "It seems you have a keen interest in crime thrillers." He laughed mysteriously and said, "What's the fun if there's no thrill in life?" I smiled and took a sip from the beer. He suggested...
Hold on, were those beers open when he had it?
That's my question. Just a word of advice for those for my young people out there that may not know. The rule of thumb: always watch your drink be made, and if you have to, never set your cup down. And if you do, it's somebody else's cup at this point.
Right, and don't pick that bitch back up.
Don't pick it back up, or if you just pick it up, just hold it. Don't sip from that thing. Always watch your drink being made, or never sit it down. That's drinking 101.
Because I'm like, he approached you with a bottle that was already open. Like, I can open my own bottle. I can twist it. I can get my little, you know.
Watching the web series named You, about a guy whose stalking behavior makes him do the unthinkable.
Joe.
The web series started, and Jason turned off the lights in the living room. My heartbeat got faster sitting in that empty house with him. After 5 minutes like this, he came close to me and said, "Would it be wrong if I kiss you, Kiera?" I smiled and looked at his eyes, saying,
Her name is Kiera?
Sure, apparently so. I didn't see what... I missed her name.
She gives Ashley, Jessica, Jennifer. She does not give Kiera.
You already looked at
No.
had a story about
He
that.
kissed me on the lips, and I kissed him back. As we started to hit it off, Jason stopped and said, "I need to go to the washroom.
Nope.
Wait here.
Nope.
I'll be back soon."
Nope.
He went to the washroom, and I got excited, thinking, finally, the time is here. A minute went by. 10 minutes went by. I waited and waited, but Jason didn't come back. Thinking how weird it is, I got up and walked to the washroom. I was about to knock on the washroom door when I saw thick red liquid coming out from the gap under the door. I pushed the door open and saw Jason was lying on the floor, covered in blood, with an injury on the back of his head. It wasn't hard to guess that somehow he slipped and hit his head. I ran.
I know what happened.
Well, this is...
I know what happened. I guarantee I know what happened. He gave her the wrong bottle. He went to the bathroom and like passed out and hit his head. I bet you that's what it was. Because it looked like the blood was coming from his mouth too.
That's... No. What kind of rookie mistake is that?
It's the only explanation.
Ran towards him as he coughed blood while shaking. His eyes stared at me wildly, and then he started to choke in his own blood. "Oh my God! I will get something! Wait, Jason!" I ran to get a first aid kit, dialing the paramedics. I saw a room right next to the washroom. I opened the door and got in. I was about to press the call button when I looked around. What is this place? Chains were hanging from the ceiling with the various torture devices tied to them.
Wait. Or he had a victim in there tied up and they got free and they knocked his ass out. But then where they at now?
Whatever the situation is, I wouldn't take the time to play. Honestly, I don't know about you. Is it weird when you like, if you do go to a date's place for the first time? This is for first meeting. I'll be like, oh, like give me a tour of your place. This is really nice. Like, is that? Because I feel like I've done it with you. You've done it with me.
I'm nosy.
I've done it with my friends. Like, oh, this is a new place. This is your spot. Show me around. That would have been like the one-on-one type of thing. I would have seen this room.
I mean, I always want to do that, but I'm always be feeling like people don't always want you to be like looking all on their shit and being nosy.
Show me what's available.
Also, you don't be letting people all up in your shit because people be like wanting to come back and rob your ass.
That's true. But also, like the people that you do that to, like, well, for me, close friends and then family, right? So, like, if it's just people coming over to play a game, that type of thing, I'm like, oh, like our motion toward it. Our bedroom's back there. Mm-hmm. The guest bathroom is here in case you need to use it. This, whatever.
That's all you really need.
I mean, but there's still that in doctrine of this is a place, this is a space. I feel like she went from front door to couch.
I mean, and then you got this, whatever this room is, very close to the bathroom, which is a common place that you would expect the guest to go, and it just might peruse like, hey, what's this? Mm-hmm. Okay.
There were bamboo sticks, cuffs, and a big black table with sharp needles sticking on the surface. This room is only designed for torture.
You're still there.
A camera was set up in the corner, probably to record a snuff film. I didn't call and went to check the camera. There was footage in its memory. One by one, I played those videos. Jason torturing girls in this room. So this is what his Netflix and chill date is. Bringing innocent girls into his house in the name of watching movies on Netflix, and then putting them through hell. Has he killed these girls too? My body got numb. I came to a psycho's house being his victim, but now he is lying injured in his own washroom. I thanked God for letting me live and slowly walked back into the washroom. Jason was still lying there and coughing blood. I stooped down to his face and said, "Did you torture and kill girls here? Help me." Not before you answer that question. I'm sorry, but I swear I wasn't planning to do that with you. Suddenly, I don't know why I felt like believing him. What? Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe.
What are your options? He wasn't gonna do that with you, but so then what?
Like,
is there a future down? Is there a future down the road with you two?
Do you think you're just the baddest bitch walking? And then it's like, would you want to live a life with a psychopath that stab bitches? If he don't stab you tonight, he'll stab you the next day.
What are you saying yes to? That's the question.
He actually fell in love with me. I helped him to get up and brought him to the living room couch. His head was still bleeding like crazy. I ripped off part of my cloth and put it on his head. Then I called paramedics and took him to a hospital. Jason received stitches and half of his body got paralyzed with his injury. A week later, I brought him back to this house, but this time, he sat in a wheelchair. I took him to that room of torture where I have to build a cage to keep him. He was not in his senses when I locked him inside that cage. One day, he might wake from this drowsy state of mind, making me realize it was all a lie, that I was too brought as a victim into this house. But if that happens, I am not letting him go behind other women. Taking my inspiration from the web series of Netflix, I will keep him locked up in that room forever. And I'm sure he will eventually fall in love with me.
She's the thing to fear. It's clear. She's next.
So we're just never gonna know what happened. Did he really just? Okay. Girl.
Next.
All right.
She's available. I can't.
The slang Netflix and chill has become really popular in the recent years. And while the true meaning of the slang is known to most people, I was unlucky enough to meet someone who had a twisted definition of the popular slang, Netflix and chill. My name is Nolan Hunter, and I was 17 years old when this incident happened. I was living with my brother, Landon Hunter, at the time, and he had just become a certified self-defense instructor. Seeing as it was his job, my brother was very passionate about being safe and knowing how to properly protect yourself. As with every chance he got, he was always trying to show me defensive techniques to use if I was ever in trouble. He'd say things like, "It's really dangerous out there. It's important to know how to protect yourself. You should always be safe out there because you never know when you'll find yourself in a dangerous situation." While I knew he had my best interests at heart, I really didn't care about my safety because at 17, all I really thought about were girls. Like every other teenager, once my hormones kicked in, the only thing I could think about was scoring a hot date. And on the 7th of October, 2019, I finally got lucky. I had asked around and people told me that she was a goth girl who was majorly into things of the occult. While I wasn't into that kind of stuff, I told myself she wasn't bad looking. So when she walked up to me and asked me if I wanted to come over for a Netflix and chill date, I immediately jumped at the opportunity. That night, I got ready for the date, and before I left, I told my elder brother where I was going so he wouldn't be worried. When I was done, he looked at me and said, "I don't know, man. It's pretty late. You should really tread carefully and stay safe." I then replied him with, "Bro, I'm going on a Netflix and chill date with a girl. Nothing dangerous is going to happen. Believe me, there's nothing to worry about." After that, I made my way to the door. As I left the house, I realized it was cold outside, so I went back to get a jacket. I couldn't see mine on the coat rack, and I was already running a bit late, so I just took my brother's jacket instead. I quickly made my way to Catherine's house, and once I got there, we began to talk and have a good time. As we sat down to watch Netflix, I suggested a really good show that I had seen in the past. Catherine looked at me and said, "I know something that's even better to watch." Curious,
Not interested.
Side note, I just thought about this for Netflix and chill. Do you prefer to watch something that you've seen and you want to introduce somebody else to it, or something that neither one of you have seen?
Preferably to experience something new together. I feel like if there's a conversation that has been made and there's an interest in something, so say like I'm into thrillers and movies, and there's an interest from that person, they may not have seen an experience. Being a storyteller, it's enjoyable for me to watch them go through that experience, but or good stories. So like even with my best friend, he watched Lord of the Rings with me for the first time. I of course have seen it, but it was a new experience watching it with someone who has it.
Right.
Preferably though something you both haven't seen. It's always good.
Especially if it's like a romantic situation. I feel like it's like, oh, we can talk about this, we can share this experience together.
And we shared this together. We'll always have this show that we can remember.
And now you can't watch it without me.
That's also a thing. Because if you fall asleep and I take off,
I mean, I can go back.
That's it.
But
feelings be hurt.
But then I be feeling way too. Like if we stopped on episode 8 and you're episode 15, I'm like,
That's the thing.
What the fuck?
I deal with that because I'm the person, like, I'm finishing up to episode 15.
I asked,
I can't.
"What's the show called?" And she replied to me with, "You'll see."
No.
I watched her pick up the remote as she continued the conversation with, "Have you ever heard of Netflix secret codes?" I replied her with, "Yeah, I have," as I watched her type in the code 0666. Before I could blink, numerous horrific videos immediately filled the screen. Catherine then calmly played one called Chronicles of the Occult, and I began to watch morbidly graphic videos of people being sacrificed in cult rituals. I watched in horror as numerous helpless people were propped up before strange altars. Their throats were slit and their eyes were gouged out. I had no words as I watched this ghastly horror play out before me. I slowly turned to my right to see Catherine smiling from ear to ear as she watched the morbid images. And it didn't take me long to figure out that she was really enjoying this. After the first 10 minutes, I couldn't take it anymore, so I turned to her and said, "What the hell is this?" Catherine then calmly replied me with, "It's my favorite show, and you're about to be part of it." Baffled, I said, "What the hell does that mean?" Before I could finish my sentence, two hooded figures emerged from the dark and attacked me.
See,
I tried to struggle, but it was no use as they firmly held on to me. They started to subdue me when I shouted, "What the hell is going on here, Catherine? Who are these people?" She smiled and replied to me with, "You see, Nolan, the Chronicles of the Occult is a show that's made up of numerous occult eccentrics. I myself am a very huge contributor to the content shown, and today I need a sacrificial lamb to kill in my latest entry." And I thought to myself, there's no better candidate than a horny boy who would jump at the opportunity of Netflix and chill. So I invited you here under the guise of that, and now I'm going to make you a star by killing you. I watched as she spoke with so much confidence. The sight was sickening to me, as in that moment, I had lost all appeal towards the girl standing before me, as she looked truly psychotic,
I hope so.
with no hesitation.
It took putting your life right there on the line for you to be like, hey, maybe I don't want to sleep with you anymore.
The men started to pull me towards a room. I kept struggling with all of my strength, but it was hopeless. They took me to a room that was decorated with occultist things. I saw the skulls of animals placed around the room. Black candles were placed and lit everywhere to give the room an eerie glow. A huge demonic altar was in the middle of the room. As they brought me closer, I could see numerous bloodstains on it. They propped me up on the altar as I watched Catherine get out a camera and a jagged knife. The fear of dying slowly began to paralyze me. I looked at her with utter disgust as she said to me, "Don't look at me like that, Nolan. I kept my promise, didn't I? We watched some Netflix, and now it's time for us to chill. But unfortunately for you, this is my twisted meaning of chill." They all started to laugh as she continued to set up the camera. Seeing them laugh turned my fear to anger as I kept on struggling. I pulled and tugged until I suddenly felt something in my jacket's pocket. I took a closer look out of the corner of my eye. I realized there was a can of mace in my pocket. I knew the mace belonged to my brother, as being a self-defense instructor, he carried it everywhere he went. I then remembered why I had it, as the jacket I was wearing belonged to him. Seeing that can of mace filled me with hope, as it gave me an opportunity to escape. So with all of my strength, I managed to pull one of my arms free, and in a split second, right before my throat was about to be slit, I grabbed the can of mace and sprayed it into the eyes of my attackers. Stunned, they all began to scream as the mace burnt their eyes. Not wasting a single second, I bolted to the door.
Autograph the
I
knife.
managed to make my way out of the apartment as I ran down the street.
I probably was stabbed.
I didn't stop till I reached home.
On my way out.
As I ran into the living room, I saw my elder brother Landon waiting for me with a worried look on his face. I was out of breath, but I managed to tell him everything that happened, and he immediately called the police. The days that followed were hectic, as a lot of questioning and interrogations were carried out. The cops who had gone to pay Catherine a visit told us that no one was there, as there was no trace of her. The cops and I then decided to reach out to Netflix to see if they knew anything about the horrific program, Chronicles of the Occult. We called them up and explained everything that happened. The Netflix worker then told us, "I'm sorry, but we know all our codes, and we can assure you that the code 0666 has never existed."
Homegirl at the beginning was about to piss me off. Well, not the, what's her name? The one that went home with Glenn Close?
She obviously wanted to be there.
Yeah, we see that now. I think he just got played and didn't know who he was playing with.
That's it. That girl was emotionally desperate, and she was willing to play the game.
He said, "I will keep him in his room until one day he loves me." I'm like, what?
A mess. Well, thank y'all for watching with us if you're just as scarred as we are.
Because, baby, woo. But yes, make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
Follow my friend Alex here.
Alex Jonte on all platforms. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
Because,
Ciao.
bye.